Vijay Mehta.
Thank you. Good morning and welcome to our AGM and Spring Conference. The past year has been busy as usual with conferences and meetings attended by our officers, myself and our members. Looking back, as our President Lord Peter Archer has said, one of the finest achievements of 2009 is the historic decision to merge two old established vibrant peace movements, Action for UN Renewal, which is going on over 15 years, and World Disarmament Campaign, which has been going on over 60 years, and its founder, Philip Noel Baker, the Nobel Peace Prize winner. Let me just congratulate both the committees, Action for UN Renewal and World Disarmament Campaign, for working hard for making the merger a reality. And now it is our next task, which our chair has told us, is to see what we need to do under this Uniting for Peace logo. And how can we become a more effective organization for a peace and non-violent, achieving a peace and non-violent world. So, since the last AGM, which was also in March, under my chair's report, I have attended about over 20 meetings, seminars and conferences across the world. But I'm just going to give you some highlights of some of them. Our last AGM, which was on the 21st of March, it was a success in the sense that the decision for merger was taken there. And at the same time, we had the Spring Conference last year with the title New Cold War in Europe. And with Russian journalist Pavel and other contributors were Brian Cooper, Lord Archer, Brian Cooper, Frank Jackson and myself. On the same month, end of that month, Action for UN Renewal had held their AGM, which is the meeting which was entitled Unity in Diversity, celebrating the United Nations International Year of Reconciliation. And we also took the same historic decision to merge with each other. And we had Francis Du Bois, from a professor and a reader from Nottingham, and who discussed the South Africa Truth and Reconciliation Commission. We had Professor Foster W. Lars from University of Ulster, and many other speakers. In June, I went to Scotland to attend and give a talk in nuclear disarmament and climate change. And the keynote speaker was Sir John Holmes, UN Under Secretary General for Humanitarian Affairs and Emergency Relief Coordinator, and contributions from Lord Henning and the Chair Sandoz. In July, Action for UN Renewal and World Disarmament Campaign had a major conference on nuclear disarmament. Beyond Obama, priorities towards nuclear abolition. And we had our President, Lord Peter Archer, speaking there, Lord Henning of Chiswick, myself, Brian Cooper, Frank Jackson, Rebecca Johnson, Colin Archer, and Frank, the scientist, Frank Barber. Excellent report is made by Frank Jackson in the December issue, which is on the literature table for you to take. And it's a very historic year for nuclear disarmament, because of, not just because both the presidents of America and US have taken this decision for to reduce the nuclear arsenals, but because we got a review conference coming up in May in New York, the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. In July, I went to Belfast and spoke or attended the Truth and Reconciliation Commission for Britain and Ireland. During that session, we heard reports from people who were on hunger strike and people who were imprisoned during the continuing violence in Northern Ireland, and we had testimonies from them. And my speech on that occasion was reported in the Irish Times next day. Copies of the speech are available at the table. I went to Chichester on the invitation of UN and South Counties region, and I gave a speech on the relevance of UN in today's world. And the other speakers were Sir Richard Jolly, David Wardrobe, Peter Chalin, Kathleen Rodriguez. We had a very successful meeting on inquiry on Iraq war, who is accountable at Friend's house. And our speakers were Robert Fox, the Sunday Times journalist, General Sir Hugh Beach, Nicholas Jones, and myself. And there was and the chair was the BBC journalist Rita Payne. And there was so much strong media interest in the meeting. They were all there, the Sky, the BBC, everyone. And the Sir John Chilcott in the Iraq war and their committee members showed keen interest in our meeting and requested for the transcripts of our proceedings of the meeting, which I sent it to Sir Martin Gilbert, member of the Iraq inquiry. In November, we had another successful meeting on escalating war in Afghanistan. Can peace return to the troubled region? We had the Afghanistani BBC producer and reporter, Daud Azmi, Bruce Kent, Peter Gilchrist, the commander who is in Afghanistan. He came from there to speak for us, and Michael Griffin and myself. And again, there was so much media presence. The BBC, Sky, Press TV, they were all fighting to take the whole proceedings of all the 3-4 hours meetings. In December, I went to Netherlands, Holland, to give a lecture on innovative approaches to world peace, which I think we are discussing today. Okay, there are some of the items I told you what I did in 2009. And 2010, in January, I went to Patni to speak on UN human rights and liberty and achievements. The chair of Patni branch of UNA, Rob Story is here right at the back, and it was a great meeting. And the other speaker was Sir Brian Barder, former ambassador. And then I went to India, speaking on the 3rd International Non-Violence Training Camp in Rajasthan, very colorful area. And I spoke there and learned a lot, which energized me to do something similar later part of this year in UK. I went to Hamburg in March to attend and speak on demilitarization and disarmament, a world of peace, and other notable people I attended with were Judge Veera Mantri, David Krieger, and Jacob John Oxer. And now future, I'm just going to say 2 or 3 things about future programs, which are, because there is a slot for future programs, so I'm not going to say a lot, except for your diaries. 27th of April, we are doing an event on defending rights of the child and building a safer future for children, and speakers from America, California, so many places are coming for that. And in May, I intend to go to the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Review Conference, and our hopes are very high for this year that we will achieve something. And in May, I've been invited with Tim Wallace, who's sitting at the back, from Non-Violence Peace Force, and I'm attending the conference in Lyon, France, on Non-Violence Peace Force, and Rachel Julian, who's sitting next to him, she's coming as well. And also we have plans, which we will hear a little later from Tim, that for the forthcoming plans of how we can have a similar kind of service or outfit in UK. On 15th of June, we have got our annual Us Kind Children's Lecture. And this year the topic is Inequality and Millennium Development Goals. And the keynote speaker is Sir Richard Jolly, the former UN Under Secretary General for UNICEF. 2 more meetings, 3 more actually. In autumn, we are doing our Uniting for Peace annual conference on the peace movement in the light of general election result. The date's not fixed, but we will inform you. That's why it's important for you, whoever has come today, to leave your email, name, address, everything. In autumn, we intend to do a Global Peace Leadership Summit on the themes of exploring non-violent solutions to violence, wars, terrorism, nuclear, non-violent solution, violence, wars, terrorism, and nuclear proliferation.